So if a lender or a broker has essentially said you can't obtain the mortgage that you want, it could have been at one of two stages that they've said that they cannot help you. It can be at the initial upfront stage when they're making inquiries with their underwriters or with a particular lender, potentially even at credit scoring stage, to see if your mortgage that you want is affordable. The alternative decline stage essentially is when you've been fully underwritten by a lender, so it's been submitted for full application assessment, and upon review of all your paperwork and your entire scenario, the lender are then declining the funding that you've asked for. The latter, as you can probably appreciate, is the higher risk scenario. However, in both of these circumstances, it's important to not panic and not assume that all is lost and that you're not going to be able to find an alternative approach. It's very easy to get disheartened at that particular moment in time and think that every lender or every broker is going to take the same approach with you, but that is simply not the case. I think in these kinds of circumstances, you have to sort of move on and understand that this broker who was potentially helping you before, or that lender, ultimately may not understand your situation and simply might not meet their criteria, as opposed to it being a personal thing about how you work. Using a specialist brokerage who does understand you as a contractor and has good knowledge of the marketplace generally, as we do, can ensure that the process is picked up again for you at that point, hopefully with a more positive outcome. It's also important to understand why you're potentially being declined or not being able to achieve the type of mortgage that you'd like with those lenders. If it is around circumstances surrounding your credit, for example, if you've had adverse credit issues in the past, it is likely you may find it difficult with any lender potentially going forward. However, if it's more around your income and proving your income to the satisfaction of a lender, this is something we can potentially help you and pick back up with you again. Going forward, you would see we would take a different approach here for you. We would be looking at placing you at a lender who does understand contractors and has a more flexible approach in their underwriting methods, as opposed to asking for documentation you must provide via HMRC or from your accountant, for example. We'll be asking for things like your contract and your CV to show your annualised contract rate, the skills and experience that you've developed in your field, and ensure that a lender can appreciate, as a contractor, you are a viable and low risk case for them to assess.